Welcome to Center of Empowerment, aka COINPM. Tonight is our Healthy, Safe, Brave Space online support group facilitated by Iris Inspires. We will be starting in a few moments. If you haven't already subscribed, please take a moment to do so now. Also, like and share shows your support and helps us get the word out about our channel. Center of Empowerment is a 501c3 compliant not-for-profit organization that impacts the 4 pillars of life: health and relationships, work and providership, and spiritual growth and balance. All of these areas are interconnected aspects that shape our overall well-being. We impact each pillar by building bridges of hope with our services. The OMB Families in Transition Grant, weekly grocery services to the elderly, displaced families, and chronically ill. Healthy, safe, Brave Space counseling and coaching services. Online, one-on-one and group settings. Eye care and dental referral services. Annual blessing bag giveaway. COINPM Africa, and so much more. Learn more on our website at www.coinpm.org. We make a difference by building bridges of hope with our services. Become a bridge builder by using the QR code or going to www.coinpm.org. Thank you for being here tonight. Get comfortable. Open your heart. Ask your question. Subscribe, like, and spread the word. We are on live. We will be starting in a few moments.
Let me partner with you as you walk through this next chapter of your life. Let us unpack the blocks, the blind spots together and get to the next level, your divine purpose in this season. Let's help you shed the weight that distracts from you living in fulfillment. Meet me in my healing space. Confirm with me today. Well, welcome, and thank you for being here tonight. How are you guys doing? Please put in the chat where you're listening in from. We appreciate you joining us tonight. I know that everybody has been about their business, right? And there's been a lot going on in all of our lives. And so I just want to say thank you, and thank you again for taking the time out of your schedule to join in the conversation tonight. We're going to start off with our breaths, but I just want to give an opportunity for those that I do see. Looks like I see a few folk that has logged on, and if you can just put in the chat. And the reason we ask you to do this, it really helps with our algorithm and making sure that we are getting out into the world of YouTube, right? So that people know that we're here. We are growing slowly, and they say slow is the best way because that means it will sustain. I hope they're right. No, I'm sure they are. So again, thank you for joining us tonight, and thank you for the regulars. Thank you to those who come back and that will watch this later on. We appreciate you for that as well. And so we just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you. Many of you know that I have been in this journey of offering spaces for us to have conversations and to heal and to open up and to understand from different perspectives. I haven't just started this. I'm an old schooler, old girl on a young girl, mature girl on the block. Yes, we've had the Iris Inspires TV show that was actually on a network. We've been on the radio. We've hosted summits. We've spoke to audiences. And so we've been fortunate now to have our not-for-profit organization that offers us an opportunity to support those that may not otherwise be able to utilize our services in the area of counseling and coaching. And so we are grateful for that. We are very grateful for that. We are grateful for our clients, for those of you that call and use our counseling services. We want to say thank you. And so make sure you do go to the website and learn all of the services that we have available for you. And learn how you can also partner with us in being a bridge that that is impacting the lives of men, women, and children. Listen, this stuff ain't free. It costs on many fronts. It costs us in the area of our time, of our energy, many times of the back door, the backdrop stuff you don't get to see, that we have to push through and push past so that we can continuously show up. So I want to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, and thank you again. All right, y'all gonna be shy. Y'all don't want to say nothing in the chat, but I appreciate. Remember that throughout, this is a pre-recorded interview, but I will be here. We will be taking your questions. I will be answering some questions. I will be giving some feedback. And let me also give a disclaimer. We are talking about some sensitive issues. So this may open some wounds for you, okay? So we are talking about some sensitive issues. Our guest tonight is very transparent. And so we will be dealing with the raw deal, okay? We're not sugarcoating. We're giving conversation around some of the challenges that we face. This month is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and it's Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And many times we look at domestic violence as physical abuse alone, but abuse in any form in the domestic arena against children, men, women, whomever, is violence. It's a violence against one's personhood, one's soul, one's spirit. And so we have been addressing that. Greetings. Thank you from the high desert area. We want to say thank you, Miss Lori. Dr. Lori James is here with us. And so we appreciate the opportunity to share. And so what we want to do is get ourselves ready for the conversation, right? So we're going to take a few breaths. Just get present with your breath. Just breathe before you take a deep inhale. Yeah, let's get present in this moment right now. Just breathe. Notice your breath. Notice your breath. We have seen a lot of people transition out of this life. Young folk. There's a lot going on in our country, in our world, and we just sometimes need to allow ourselves, the opportunity just to be present with our breath. Yes, it is our breath that reminds us whom's and who we are, that we are created in the very image and after the likeness of the creator of all life. That means you, I, we, us. We not no junk. You have purpose. You have purpose. And you don't have to stew, sit, remain in pain. We have to acknowledge it, but you don't have to stay in it. Come on, take another deep inhale. Hold, and on the count of 4, we're going to exhale through the mouth. 2, 3, 4, and exhale. Yeah. Yes, you cannot do that. You cannot do that and don't find not only comfort, but find peace, right? Find peace and resolution that is not only going to be okay, everything, not some things, but everything is in divine order. So we're grateful for that. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We have a dynamic guest tonight. As I've said, Miss Val, I call her Val, and you're going to hear in the interview, we have been botching up her name for a few years now, but it seems to be a common thing. She is a producer and a director. She has an extensive dossier. She's not someone, and so we're going to talk about that. And I'm also going to give you some of the links where you can check out some of her work. But she is a powerhouse. She's a woman that has walked through some distinct challenges, traumas, and have made it and have used her pain. All right, slow up, girl. She has used her pain to affect and impact the lives of others. All righty. So we're going to bring to the stage none other than Miss Val. Welcome to the stage. As you know, we're going to have a dynamic conversation with our special guest, Lady Valerie Sarah. And we're going to be bringing her to the stage real soon. Listen, I met Valerie at Saybrook University. That's where our connection came through. And she has been nothing but a breath of fresh air, her experiences, her life journey. And we want to make sure to give her plenty of time to talk about the subject matter at hand. And our subject tonight, do you guys know what it is? Somebody want to put it in the chat. What is our subject tonight? What are we talking about tonight? Who want to tell me what we're talking about tonight? Yeah, that's what we're talking about tonight. We are talking about, as I am looking it up, I do know what it is, everybody, but I have 100 million quadrillion things going through my brain cells, and I should have had it up and prepared, but that's okay. Family secrets and truth telling. That's what we're going to be talking about tonight. So let's welcome to the stage Valerie. Can we put our hands together? Valerie, hi there.
Hi.
Hi, welcome to the Center of Empowerment, Healthy Space, Counseling and Coaching. We want to thank the audience for being here. I thank you for taking time out of your schedule to be here. As we know, this is pre-recorded, and that's okay. We're going to still have our conversation and leave room for, if they always tell them if they come back with questions to put it in the chat. And then we also have an after show. Put it in the chat, and I'll make sure if it's something I'm going to ask you direct, they can get it to you. Okay.
Okay, great.
So Valerie, tell us a little something about yourself. Listen, you guys, she has an extensive dossier. Let me say, she is very well-rounded. But tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got to the place of producing the type of films that you produce. I'm assuming, and correct me if I'm not correct, that it was generated from personal experiences. Is that correct?
That is correct. Mm-hmm. So a little bit about myself. Okay, so my name is Valeria Sarah, but everyone calls me Val. It's okay because everyone does it. So everyone calls me Val, so it's all good. And I am a filmmaker, producer, director. I started out as an actress, but I wanted to go behind the scenes. I started getting into this work. Again, I wanted to start off being behind the scenes and producing my own films and my own work. So one of the things that got me into doing this is I was trying to figure out what type of film that I wanted to do, for my first film. And it ended up being a documentary because I ended up doing a documentary based off of African-American women who face depression, bipolar, mental health issues. And at the time I did the documentary, that topic was very taboo in our culture, in our community. Mm-hmm. So we didn't really, talk about that. It was something we didn't talk about. We didn't seek therapy. That just wasn't something that we talked about because a lot of people thought that therapy is for crazy people for some reason. Mm-hmm. But so that was my first movie that I've actually featured film that I actually did. So my first movie was a featured film. It was a featured documentary. And I had 7 women and 2 therapists as well as a life coach in that documentary. It's a beautiful documentary. Just talking about, the journey of depression and getting from depression to joy. And that film is called The Rhythm of Blue. Mm-hmm. So The Rhythm of Blue was basically the journey of, feeling blue, but the journey of that is finding your rhythm. So whatever your rhythm may be, finding your rhythm to joy. So for some people that is therapy, but a lot of people don't feel comfortable going to therapy. So some people, their rhythm may have been, finding dance or poetry or writing journaling. There's all types of ways that we can, heal ourselves and deal with trauma.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So awesome. And it's a beautiful film. I've seen it, you guys. So we're going to make sure we're going to put it in, have it at the bottom where the link where you can check it out. It's a beautiful film. And come to find out what made it doubly impressive was there's some people in the film that I knew. I was like, wait a minute, I know her. No, it's such a small world. We never know who knows who. And so I appreciate that. Now, how did you I know you talked about the depression and getting from depression to joy. Why was that important to you?
Yeah, it was important to me because I had dealt with depression in the past. And, when you're dealing with depression, sometimes you feel by yourself, you feel like other people can't understand, you feel other people, don't have depression. Mm-hmm. And so, I had to work through my own depression. I did go to therapy, but I also found my own rhythm. And, it was important to me to talk about those things because I felt like, okay, well, if I'm going through this, there may be other people going through this, and I would love to tell the story. And just me dealing with my own issues and having my own journey, I wanted to reach out and find others who had the same or similar journeys and similar issues and dealt with some of the similar things that I've dealt with, and tell those stories. So that's why it was important to me. So that film came from a personal space. And yeah, I mean, usually what I try to do, I try to focus on, when I'm doing films, I like to focus on a lot of the mental health issues or mental, aspect of it, psychology aspect of things, because that's the world we live in, and life is life in and always life in, and we have to navigate as much as possible. So I like to tell those stories where people may have faced some type of challenge, mental challenge, or and actually came out of it. So it's not just
focusing on the problem without getting to the other side.
Exactly. And I like to focus on not necessarily like telling those stories, but telling them in a beautiful way. And the reason why I'm saying this is because a lot of times we can look at the issues that we have and it's woe is me, and oh my gosh, that's so bad, and all of that. And yes, but there's also something beautiful in the challenge. It's also something beautiful in the struggle, and so I like to tell the stories that shows the beauty in the struggle, because that is a part of our journey as well, and we need to embrace the struggle as well, because it helps us grow. So
that's interesting. Yeah, it's really I just wrote in a paper that I turned in, I ended it with a quote that I had in my book, and I said, if pain is truly a pathway to purpose, right, or it causes us to not return to the pain again, why is it then that a woman goes through the excruciating pain that she does, and then she goes back to have another child? Or why does or why is it a person can be in a very toxic, unhealthy relationship situation, or business, any type of situation, but they will find themselves drawn back into that. That walks us into the family secrets. And telling the truth is part of the stories of yourself and those women, because you talk a lot with women that you've heard. Is it around the trauma of hiding out behind secrets that have been untold and unhealed?
So let me just back up a little bit in regards to when you say family secrets, so that the audience understand the context. Family Secrets is another documentary that I am looking into creating. And that's basically telling the stories of people who have held secrets within their family, or family members who may have done something and that have caused some trauma to other family members, and we don't talk about those stories. And so there's secrets that are being held, not only within our own families, but there's also secrets that we're holding within ourselves because we may be ashamed to talk about it. We may be afraid of being ridiculed, so on and so forth. And so, yes, that's the family secrets. The secret part is what's causing a lot of the anguish and the challenges and the pain. And when you talk about those things and you get those things out, it frees you up, basically, to be able to move forward in a productive way.
Absolutely. And we're going to give you an opportunity to actually invite the audience to possibly participate, or see if it's a fit for them to participate in the documentary that you're going to be doing. I guess, it's interesting because today I had an experience over the last few days. I've been working with some folk, and one of a few of the things that's been coming up And it was very, I'm gonna have a transparent moment. It was very emotional because the pain was holding the secret. It wasn't necessarily a family secret. It was just holding the weight of others' secrets, other folk behaviors or lack thereof, character flaws, right? Even as counselors and therapists, we hear a lot, right? We hear a lot of things that we have to hold, right? So we have to find a way to release it. And so what would you say as it pertains to family? Because you have family secrets, as you know, what stays in the house, what's done in this house stays in this house. So that could be, you know, anywhere from abuse to fussing and arguing to we don't have enough money to eat and there's no lights on in the house to, you know, uncle over there is a pedophile and you know, oh yeah, we don't let the kids go over there. I mean, there's a whole, and then I do have a large Christian community, and I'm really getting some balls around talking about some things, especially after the last 48 hours. I've been kind of, I try to package it really nicely, but the truth of the matter is if we don't deal with our stuff in a transparent way in our families, in our communities, how are we going to heal? How are we going to, we're in such a time right now where it's so needed if we're going to go beyond surviving.
Yeah. I know that family secrets and trauma and all of that is not just isolated to the Black community. I will just say that, number one, that is a human, you know, thing across the board that we all have to work through. But I will say in the Black community, we have this culture where we don't talk about stuff. We also have this culture where we don't snitch, you know, you don't know snitching culture. And that can be very hindrance to us individually, not only individually, but us as a community, which is hindering our growth as a community as well. I'm not saying now being a therapist is something different because, you know, a therapist or a counselor, you are bound by confidentiality. So you have to hold those secrets and you want to remain professional and hold those secrets. Right. However, therapists need therapy too. You know, counselors
trust and believe. You know, process this stuff.
Yeah. Because so that's one thing. But if you're not a therapist, I'm not saying, you know, go out and put your business out to anyone, to everyone. But if you have some challenges, if you've had some issues that you have dealt with, rather it be Uncle Ray and or maybe some, you know, physical abuse, domestic abuse, or mental verbal abuse that you're holding in. A lot of times we hold those things in and we just walk around, we're smiling, we're, you know, walking around and dealing with other people, but that's going to come out. When you're holding that in, it's going to come out some way, some form. Rather you find yourself being angry for, you know, no reason, or you're out in the world and you snap at someone. You're the way we operate, we're operating from pain and don't even realize we're operating from pain because we're holding all this stuff in and we don't realize that how we're moving in the world, we're moving from that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it would behoove us to seek therapy, and therapy is that's just one way. It is a way to get it out. It is a way to take all that negative energy, you're channeling that out verbally. Number one, that is one way, but there are other ways that you can get negative energy out. You can exercise, getting that negative energy out. Sweating helps, you know, release toxins. You can, you know, dance, which is a form of exercise. You can listen, you can meditate, you know, there are so many other ways that you can release those things. But a lot of time we as a community, we just holding things in, and we're so busy running around like hamsters on a wheel, and we're just holding all of that negative energy in, and we're operating from the negative energy and don't realize it.
So how did you get to the realization that you were operating in negative energy?
Because I was angry all the time. And I was like, why am I mad? Like, what am I mad about? You know, I was angry all the time. I just found myself just mad. And I was like, I really have to understand, why am I angry? Why am I mad? What am I holding? And once I just kind of sat with myself, number one, just being very real with yourself, asking, really looking at yourself and asking yourself the questions, or it may be something that you've done and don't understand why you've done something. You just really have to sit with yourself and ask why. And then when you ask why and you get that answer, ask why again and get that answer. And then when you get that answer, ask why again until you get to the core of what it is that's wrong. And then when you find out what it is that's wrong, then you need to find out, okay, so what do I need to do about it? How can I fix it? You can't just find out, what's wrong, and then you're just like, okay, well, type thing. You have to.
I have a question. Is it fixing, or is it embracing and recognizing that's a part of who you are and what makes you whole and complete?
You know what? I love that you asked me that, because you're absolutely correct. And let me just say this. That's a great point. This is just from my experience. Okay. There is no cure for trauma. Okay. What you learn to do is embrace what has been a part of your experience. And then you find ways to deal with it when triggers come up. That becomes easier when you practice. So trauma is not fixable. Trauma is now a part of you. So what I have went through, and I've been through a lot of trauma, but what I've went through is a part of me. It no longer affects me in the way that it did before, because I now embrace that as a part of me. And I have worked through my triggers, and I have changed my behaviors compared to when, I was kind of acting out on and not recognizing this is why I was acting this way. Now, once I've recognized that, this is a trauma, and this is why my trauma is making me do such and such, or act such and such, or feel such and such. Now I can recognize those triggers. So if I'm looking at something or someone says something to me, I can say, that was very triggering for me. Let me sit with this, not react off, let me just sit with it and deal with it internally. So I love that you asked that question, because you're not really fixing it. There's no cure for trauma. It is embracing that your trauma is a part of you, recognizing the triggers when they come up, and having a toolbox of resources on how to deal with your triggers. And that becomes easier as you practice.
Awesome. Trauma is such a buzzword today. Everybody, we have we talk about trauma, and I think people, the audience or the community at large, or it becomes the go-to because of a lack of understanding. And so to give some meaning around what trauma is, it is a severe emotion, and how you respond to a stressful event, right? That overwhelms a person, which creates the depression and anxiety, and ability to process that event, that experience, that accident. It can be caused directly or indirectly. So that's when we talk about the generational, or the pathology, or how we hand behaviors down to our within our family, you see a common thread because of unhealed trauma, or in the communities in the African American community, there's common trauma threads, right? So with that said, I know you said there's been a host of traumas, and I'm not trying to get you to tell all your business, but is there one thing you can share with our audience that you had to work, one of the areas of trauma that you worked through, and what you did to get to the other side? Good evening. Hey. I want to make sure that I come on and reach out to those that have joined us. I want to say thank you for joining us. Please put in the chat where you're listening in from. We're getting ready to go now, as I stated on the front end of the broadcast, into some conversations that are sensitive. So I want to give a pre-warning, or a disclaimer, not a warning, a disclaimer. It may be triggering. So you're aware. Do not hesitate to put your questions and your comments in the chat. I am here and we can answer them. Okay. All right. Blessings.
My traumas are pretty heavy. So
and listen, and I get that, and that's why I'm going to give you the space today. For you, don't talk about nothing I'm not comfortable with. But our audience, yes, I know they will hear, and it. So this is healthy, safe, brave space.
Okay, so I was going to say I don't mind saying. I don't know how heavy you get with, or how heavy your audience can get, or whatever the case may be.
We goes there.
Okay, you go there. Okay. Well, I'm not going to go into details, but I will say that I was molested as a child. And when I was adult, I was gang raped. So that just, and that's just only two. So with that, that in itself is a lot. You know what I'm saying? And I was abandoned as a child with my father. So number one, that was the number one, because that was my first trauma. That was the first trauma that I've dealt with, was the abandonment from my father. So you don't know how that affects you, because anytime you have an abandonment from either parent, that's going to affect you in some way. You don't know it yet, but it is a childhood trauma that you will need to deal with. So, like I said, I've had a plethora of traumas, and mine's are pretty heavy, but those are three. So, so I've had to, the main one that really, the main one that made me recognize, or the first one that made me recognize my trauma, was my abandonment issues. That's the first thing that got me to thinking, oh, I have some issues going on that I need to deal with. And so, yeah.
The root, and from that roots, we have other things that branched out and affected. So some of the things that you talked about that you did was therapy.
I also did, I don't know, I also did shadow work, and I don't know if
yes.
I don't know.
Yes, no, please talk about it.
Okay. So I also did shadow work. And I don't know if your audience know about shadow work, but shadow work is really delving into your being. It's delving into you. It's delving into your trauma. It's delving into, again, kind of sort of what I was talking about earlier, really analyzing why you do the things you do. Again, that can come through therapy or whatnot, but you're kind of doing this work yourself. It is also going through it and feeling the pain of what you've been through. And the reason why I say that is because
okay, so I want to add at this point, in talking about shadow work, you can't go through it by yourself, but it is highly recommended that you work with a counselor or a coach or someone that can support you through the process, because you are opening up wounds, and you don't want to get stuck in that process. But if you are willing to do the work and you're up to do the work, you can do it by yourself. But it's highly recommended that you do the work with a counselor, a therapist, or a coach, like myself.
A lot of times when we go through trauma, we our body either goes into fight or flight mode, right? And a lot of times we don't process the trauma. A lot of times we don't allow that trauma in. Sometimes back in the day, they used to have this diagnosis called bipolarism or dissociative multiple personality.
Yes.
Yeah. Basically what that is a defense mechanism of your body, your brain, because your trauma has been so extensive, so traumatized that your brain cannot process. So it disassociates from that trauma, right? So a lot of times when we go through trauma, and I'll tell you this. So when I was 16, I got into a car accident when my head went through the windshield. That's trauma, right? That's another trauma. Like I said, I've been through a lot of trauma. I don't remember that because my mind shut off. So I don't remember the actual going through the windshield because my body, that was too much of my mind to handle. So a lot of times when we go through major trauma, rather that be through, a rape or
accident or
some type of abuse or whatever, we disassociate, our mind disassociate, and it's to protect yourself. So what shadow work does is you sit with what you've been through and you feel that. You deal with that. You relive it. You relive it. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, yes. That's I'm loving this. Let me just say, and I don't want to just interrupt you. I want you to get it out. I'm loving this because this is the kind of work I do with my clients. This is what we do in this circle, and we want to expose as much as we can, so people can get it. So go ahead. I'm loving it.
Yeah, no, that's what shadow work is, and I've done that. You cry a lot, you grieve, you feel those feelings, and then once you start to deal with those feelings and go through all of the things, you then come to acceptance of it. And so, now I can accept. There was a point when you asked me this, when you say, well, what are your traumas? I'm like, oh, say what your traumas are. Because there was a point I wouldn't tell my traumas. I was like, I'm not telling nobody I was raped. Like, I'm not telling nobody I had, but that's a part of who I am. You know what I'm saying? And it's a part of why I do what I do. And it makes me who I am. It's a part of why I created the rhythm of blue, So once you go through your therapy and do your own shadow work, you can get to a place of release and sharing, because really what it's all about is it's really not about me. It's about sharing my experience so that someone else can see themselves in me to get the strength to share their experience, so someone else can heal and that healing moves on. So I'll just say this. If I wanted to keep my secret that I had these traumas, guess what I'm doing? I'm perpetuating the generational curse. So we as Black people, we need to talk about these things, because then we are the light that's breaking the generational curse through the conversations, through our own healing, through our own shadow work. We're breaking those generational curses.
I love it. I love it. We are breaking, I like to use the word generational stigmas. Okay. And we can relate to that. The patterns, the pathology, the behaviors, that we see in our families. I love it. I think you explained shadow work perfectly. It's and I appreciate that. What we're going to do at this time, we're at 30 minutes, and what I'm going to give you an opportunity to do, is talk about the family secrets. And let me see if I can pull it up. How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? Any questions? What's come up? You have any questions around shadow work? Do you have any questions around dealing and working through with a counselor, without a counselor, the distinction? Has anything, when Val was talking about when she recognized that she was angry all the time, any of those things have brought up feelings and emotions and made you pause or caused you to pause, right? And moving past and through what's called generational stigmas. You can put that in the chat. We greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate it as we continue the conversation. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. I'm still doing my, let's see if we can do it here. Let's see. Wait a minute. There we go. While I am attempting to pull this up, share some more about the feeling of relief after doing the shadow work. Because I think a lot of times, of course, what happens is folk don't want to do it because who wants to feel that, right? Who wants to go through?
It's no joke.
It's not an easy. I mean, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it, which is why we numb out. This is why we have addictions, right? Different types of addictions.
It's not for the faint of heart, honey. Let me tell you, because no one wants to relive, their trauma. We want a lot of times we want to put the things that we've went through behind us, and we want to just move on. And we just and I used to be one of those people. I used to be one of the people who I didn't cry. I was like, I gotta remain hard. I gotta save face. I can't like
tough exterior. That's what that anger, right? And all that is.
Yeah.
But the release, the release when you got to that place where you were able to release it and even forgive. Hey, there it is. Did you have to forgive your offenders? Was that necessary to heal?
So let me just say this. You don't forgive the people. You forgive yourself. And the reason why I'm saying that is because when people say forgiveness is really not for the other person. So forgiveness, this is just my opinion. Forgiveness is not for you to say, oh, I forgive you, it's okay. Forgiveness is really letting what happened to you or letting what happened to you no longer affect you in the way that it does. So yes, I forgave what happened to me. Not necessarily the people, what happened to me. So the people, what happened to me from the people, I don't even know who those people are. So, I can't forgive them or whatever. To me, forgiveness is acceptance. That's what forgiveness is to me, is I have accepted this is what happened to me. And forgiveness is not just something that you just say, it is work you do. So me forgiving was me healing, me going through to therapy, me doing shadow work, me healing myself and accepting that was my forgiveness. That's how I forgave. So
doing the work.
Doing the work is forgiveness. You can't, if you still are affected by what has happened to you, or if something still trigger you, you haven't forgiven it. Am I making sense?
You're making sense. I'm loving it. So I wanna peel some to bring some clarity, just a little bit of clarity for those who may be asking the question or may ask the question. How do I forgive myself for rape? How do I forgive myself for abuse? I didn't pep,
No. Oh,
perpetuate that.
maybe I didn't explain that correctly. So there were some things that I did to someone else that I had to forgive myself for. Number one.
Got it.
Number two, when someone does something to you, what I'm saying is when someone has done something to you, you're not forgiving the person per se. What the forgiveness is the work. Once you do the work, that is forgiveness. A lot of times, for example, I'll give you an example. So in the Black community, we used to have, especially back in the day, like 2 or 3 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, a Black man would get shot in the street, right? Okay, we all know that.
But yeah.
The first thing the mother would do is get on there and say, I forgive you. I forgive them, right? Did you really, or are you just saying the words?
Just saying it. Yeah.
You're just saying the words. And a lot of times we just say the words. And what I'm saying is look at forgiveness differently. Forgiveness is the work. That is forgiveness, not the words. So you're not even really forgiving the person. What you're doing is you have accepted the act. You've accepted that this has happened to you, and now it no longer affects you.
It doesn't hold power. Yeah, it doesn't hold. So you're saying, yeah, so the acceptance and the acknowledgement that this is what happened, right? This offense, this murder of my child, this raping of and taking of my body, my innocence, it happened, and it should not have happened. No, that shouldn't have happened. Yeah, that's something that shouldn't have happened.
Right.
However, it happened, and so to forgive, the work is unpacking the blame of self,
right? Which is forgiving yourself.
Yeah, the blame of God,
right?
Forgiving self, because oftentimes we blame God or the creator of our life, whomever and however you choose to define that. So yeah, I love it. Forgiveness is not just the words. A lot of times we are conditioned to believe, depending on what your belief is, but in our community in particular, we're conditioned to believe forgiveness is the first thing we have to do, and we suppress the feelings, right?
Suppress the feeling, and you didn't forgive because you know you're having triggers, or you're still getting mad, or you're moving from that. You didn't forgive because you're still operating from what has happened to you. And what I'm saying is forgiveness is an action, is not just saying it. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, because we as African Americans are more Christian focused, we feel like we have to forgive. And what we're doing is we're just saying we forgive someone, or we forgive, whatever, but we never done the work. We hold that in, never have done the work. And when something comes up, or someone, you didn't really forgive them.
And then we blame ourselves because we feel like, oh, we're supposed to be bigger than that and better than that, and it doesn't mean that. We haven't allowed ourselves the opportunity to be angry, to acknowledge that I'm angry,
right?
And I'm upset.
Acknowledge
I'm angry. Acknowledge that I have been violated. Acknowledge that. We don't give ourselves that room to do that because we're not supposed to feel. And we suppress. That's why we have overeating, over drinking, over sexing, over spending, and toxic relationship. Okay, all that. Love it. That was good. I love it. As you see, Zoe wants to be a part of the broadcast. She wants to be a part of the broadcast. What I'm going to do, I love this. That was excellent. We're going to bring up your. I had it up. Come on, there we go. Where did it go? No, Zoe, you can't do that.
I want to be a part of the conversation.
Okay, I want to be here. Okay, here we go. There we go. There it is. I'm going to let you talk about this.
Yes.
Can you see it? Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Is it showing? Okay.
Yes. Yes. So the documentary is telling stories, real life stories of trauma. And not only trauma, but the journey of the going through the trauma and getting to the other side. So a lot of times, we talk about therapy or whatever. A lot of people want to just talk about the end. You know what I'm saying? People just want to talk about the end. No one wants to talk about what you've actually been through. Again, we just talked about that. So the holding those secrets, what you've actually been through. So the documentary is called Black Family Secrets or Family Secrets. I'm still working on the title, but it's basically just holding our trauma in, holding the secrets in. A lot of times, like I was saying at the beginning of the our conversation today, a lot of times we like to hold secrets in our family. So that's number one. So Uncle Ray Ray, we have we have times when we know do not, let the little kids around Aunt Jemima or Aunt Uncle
Right.
because we know that they have some issues. But we don't want to talk about it. We don't want to say anything. Also, excuse me, we may have gone through some type of, molestation or something in the family that no one wants to talk about, some type of physical abuse from or verbal abuse from a parent that no one wants to talk about. It's just basically keeping your secrets. Keeping your secrets is holding us back. And so that's what this documentary is exploring, is people getting the courage to tell their secret. That is the first step. So we will have a therapist on set during filming. Each person that we interview will be by themselves, so it's not like other people are listening to their stories, because we want to be mindful of people's privacy and in regards to being with someone else. But we will have a therapist on set just in case it's needed. But it's just really the story. The documentary is just really talking about people who are having the courage to tell their trauma, to tell their secret, and then how we will have therapists in the documentary to talk about some of the ways that these individuals can heal, and then also give resources for people at the end who may need it, or for people who see it as well. So.
Love it, love it, love it. So you guys have it. Where I'm going to make sure that I put the how to contact you in the body of our description of this particular episode, as well as pull it up when we go while we're live. So you guys are hearing me talk about this, so remind me to make sure that I put it in there. Okay. I want to say thank you. Say it for me, that's because I'm going to call you Val, but I want to hear your name again because that was so pretty.
Valeria.
I did not know that.
Valeria Sarah.
Valeria Sarah. Love it. That is beautiful. I want to thank you. Thank you for taking time out of your day today and sharing your experience and talking about the body of work that you've done, and to heal, to offer a healing space. We're called Healthy, Safe Healing, Lord. Healthy, safe, brave spaces. And what we offer is an opportunity to do what we just did. Have the conversation, right?
Yeah.
Open and unpeel and unpack. And I really appreciate it. I love how you talked about addressing the trauma, embracing the trauma, and forgiving. And the forgiveness comes with forgiving self, so that our relationships, our families, our communities can heal. If there's one thing you would like to leave with the audience as it pertains to healing and walking through, what would that? No, before I ask you that, what would you tell your younger self?
I would tell my younger self, I love you. That's it.
That's it. I love you. What would you tell a young lady today facing some of the things that you've had to walk through?
It's okay.
Yes.
It's okay. I would tell, to me, it's very important to know that it's okay, whatever you've been through, it's okay. And number two, you have the strength to move through it. You have the strength to move through it. And the it's okay is the acceptance. The strength to move through it is the healing, is the journey towards the healing. And those two are needed in order for us to be able to function, not from our pain, but from our hearts.
Ooh, I love it. Not from our pain, but from our hearts. I love that. And that's the space that we heal from. And that's what's going to heal our families. Any other final words you'd like to share?
No, I just think this was a beautiful conversation. Thank you so much for having me on here. I am just so full. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. We're going to have you come back again when you complete your documentary. And ladies and gentlemen, you want to make sure you go and check out, what is it called again?
The Rhythm of Blue, and it'll be
All righty. How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? How y'all breathing out there? Give me a little feedback with you. That was a dynamic conversation. What do you feel about? I love that, healing from our heart and not our pain. What do you think about the conversation around forgiveness, trauma? Any feedback, share with me in the chat. Let me know what you're thinking about. There was a lot of powerful gems that were given. The most important thing I think is to remember is to, one, give yourself space, give yourself the opportunity to feel, express, and heal. To feel, express, and heal. Give yourself the opportunity to do that. Meaning not just suppressing, pretending, and acting like it's not there. Give yourself the space to feel, express, and heal. Healing from our heart and not our pain. Functioning. We have gotten so accustomed to operating and functioning in pain, working in pain, pushing, suppressing, and moving, pushing, suppressing, and moving, and not allowing ourselves to heal, and not even giving ourselves the permission to say what it is we truly feel. We hide behind masks. We pretend. And it's not to say that she talked about many ways. Go ahead and in the chat, those of you that are on, give me your feedback, what you thought about tonight. It's not to say that the things that we have done, right, in the realm of prayer and the music is, of course, our music is healing. Our family gatherings are healing. All those things are good and feel good. However, when we pack that on top of stuff that we have not allowed ourselves to feel, experience, and heal, feel and heal. When we just pack it on top of that, we continue patterns and pathology, alcoholisms, drugisms, sexisms, overexpendedisms, overextending our schedule, workaholics, all the olics is where that comes from. The inability to sit with what we are feeling. And when we say sit with it, we don't mean stew in it, but we have to allow it to bubble up and come up, right? To feel it, to acknowledge it, so that we can heal. I want to say thank you again, Val. That was a dynamic, I appreciate you. That was a dynamic conversation. It is my prayer that it has opened up a space in your heart to have the conversation, to think, to even reach out for support, for counseling, You don't have to have counseling, but counseling is good in supporting and getting that out, having a sounding board to help you process that. I am a counselor. I'm a coach. We have referral counselors and coaches. Areas that I cannot do, I have a whole list. We have it on our website, www.coinpm.org, in healthy space. I don't know what's wrong with me not being able to say that today and tonight. Healthy, safe space, brave spaces. And we create environments for you to heal, to feel, experience, and heal. It's important that we do that. We're in critical times in our world, in our communities, and in our families. And and it's critical in that we have an opportunity to shift the trajectory, shift the direction that we go in. Yeah, we can do it. We can project differently. We can see a future that is much different than our past and where we stand today. It doesn't have to be like this always. All right. Again, thank you. God bless you. We will be having our after show in Patreon at Patreon. Let me put it here. I looked up, by the way, I did look up for some reason I was not able to pull up the video. I was going to let you guys watch it. It's really dynamic. So what I'm going to do in Patreon is I will be able to pull it up in our after show. And so this is where we're going to be having our after show in about 15 minutes or so. But in the meantime, I want to say thank you. God bless you. And remember that we are here for you. I do this. We do this. The Center of Empowerment for you.
Thank you for joining us on Iris Inspires TV, where we have real talk, real experiences, and real hope. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe, like, and, by all means, spread the word by sharing. Don't forget to activate the Notify Me bell, and you will be alerted when we go live. Scroll through our content and be uplifted, inspired, and reminded that you are not alone. The after show will start in 15 minutes on www.patreon.com/irisinspires. See you next time.